Welcome to ZONEofTECH News, episode number 10. Now, this episode should have been last week, but unfortunately last week, or fortunately, was full of releases. We got a PS5, we got both the iPhone 12 mini, the iPhone 12 Pro Max, we had, I believe, the Apple event too. It was crazy full. We actually did 6 videos, so definitely check all of those out in case you missed them, but ZONEofTECH News is back for this week, and we have some really interesting topics. First of all, the iPhone 12 DisplayGate issue, which I'm going to cover extensively, then finally the HomePod mini unboxing and first look, and Apple updating their developer fee. So without any further ado, get our snacks ready, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Oh, and actually forgot to mention, guys, the iPhone 12 giveaway ends on the 23rd, so it might be over by the time you're watching this, but the PS5 is still going. So you can check both giveaways in the description box down below. Right, iPhone 12 DisplayGate. So after I got my iPhone 12 Pro, the one that I'm actually using as my daily driver, I've noticed that the display, sometimes it will actually have this really strange glow when booting up or when watching HDR videos. So essentially the black levels, they were kind of like an LCD. They were really grayish. They had this yellow, sometimes greenish glow. So it kind of gave you the impression that you had an LCD display, which is obviously not true because this is an OLED display. Now, at first, I didn't really make much of it. Like, I knew that, oh, my iPhone is probably defective, but the problem is it wasn't in stock anywhere, so it's not like I could have replaced it. So I was like, okay, I do have Apple Care on this, so I'm just gonna wait until there is a unit in stock and then I'll call Apple and replace it. But then, a viewer actually sent an email describing this issue, well, an issue, which was pretty much identical to the one that I was having. Not only that, but apparently this was actually a widespread issue. There were posts on Mac Rumors, posts on Apple Discussions, and even many reports online of this being an issue, something that I personally haven't seen. So then I went and tested my iPhone 12, well, 2 of them, we have 2 in the office, and I even tested the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and they all had the exact same issue. Interesting enough, the iPhone 12 mini was the only one that didn't have the issue, but all the other ones, they all did. Okay, so this display issue, I'm gonna call it DisplayGate, is definitely widespread because of that. Like, we have a few units, all of them had the issue. I got the email, there's so many posts on Mac Rumors, Apple discussion forums, all of that. So this is definitely a widespread issue. The only question is it hardware related or is it software related? And the thing is, it's really hard to tell because there's evidence for both cases. So let's start off with the assumption that this is a hardware issue. So Bowie, which is a company that manufactures displays, now manufactures some of the displays for the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 Pro alongside Samsung and LG for the rest. And this is because Apple sells a lot of iPhones and they needed a third display supplier to keep up with the demand. Now, Bowie, on the other hand, has actually been well known for their poor display quality and low yield rates. In fact, we now have a new report that Bowie has actually failed a quality test, and Apple will not be using Bowie in the iPhone 13 displays next year. So this could actually be the reason. Maybe this has a Bowie display, maybe most of the iPhones sold during this period, they all have, or most of them have Bowie displays, and maybe those displays are just really low quality, and Apple will be just replacing those with Samsung units fairly soon. But then at the same time, this could also be a software issue. Because you see, it's not like this is happening all the time. This is only happening in some cases, like when you're watching HDR videos or when you're booting the phone up, which is a bit of an odd one. Like, that would kind of make me think that, oh, maybe this is a hardware issue, but I don't know. Like, the fact that it doesn't happen all the time and it only happens in some cases, like even when I'm booting the phone, it kind of flickers a bit, makes me think that maybe in the end, maybe it's just the software. And in fact, Apple has now acknowledged this issue and they said that they are looking into it. They've also asked Apple Store employees not to service or replace these iPhones because even Apple isn't fully sure if this is a hardware or a software issue. Okay, so if you have an iPhone 12, iPhone 12 Pro, Mini, or even 12 Pro Max, how can you actually test if you have this issue? Well, first of all, just make sure that all the lights are turned off. Like you're in a perfectly dark scenario with no lights at all, and try just turning off your iPhone and then boot it up. This is the easiest way to test. Just boot it up and take a look and see if you can see any display glow, or if only the Apple logo is visible on the screen. If the display has a glow, then you do have this issue. You can also try this by downloading a black background, not a photo of a black sheet or anything, literally just an exported black color. And just preview that with a display brightness below 100%. Apparently, if you have the display brightness to 100%, you won't see this happen, but if it's anything lower than 100%, then you will see this issue. But yeah, the good news is that Apple is aware of this, and hopefully they will release a software fix or even a replacement program fairly soon. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys have this DisplayGate issue, and if so, well, how bad is it really on your phone, and is it something that you've noticed before watching this video? And now, the HomePod mini is finally in the house. I know this is, again, a bit late. We didn't get any units from Apple as usual, but we did get delivered this earlier this week. So now I just want to quickly unbox and take a first look live on camera of the HomePod mini. Okay, so let me just quickly remove the plastic wrap. Right, and let's take a quick look at the box. So we have the top of the HomePod on the top of the box, then we have the sides on, the side of the box, and then just mini on both ends. And then we get a listing of what we get inside the box. So here it says, HomePod mini, Siri helps you get things done from anywhere in the room. Enjoy amazing sound with Apple-designed audio. Experience multi-room audio with AirPlay 2. And you can pair 2 HomePod mini speakers for stereo sound. You can use intercom between HomePod speakers, you can control your smart home, and additional information at apple.com/HomePod. So let me just quickly take this out of the box and see how, ooh, okay, wow, that's actually smaller than I thought. This thing, guys, is absolutely tiny. Wow. And you get a cable, which just like on the regular HomePod, it's built into the speaker itself, and I'm assuming that I can actually remove the cable, or maybe not. I don't want to break it. Okay, probably not. But yeah, let's take a quick look at a HomePod mini. So we have the touch surface on top, and then you have the volume up and down button, and then you'll see a Siri icon as well. Other than that, it's a very simplistic design. You don't have any buttons. You have just a okay, this is actually metal. I was expecting this to be rubber, just like on the HomePod, the regular HomePod, but this is metal. And it seems like you can kinda remove this. But this is basically just a stand. And then you get a USB Type-C cable. This is strange. So this is a braided, I don't know if you can see that. This is a braided USB Type-C cable. Right, let's do some quick size comparisons, and then we'll take a look at what else we have inside the box. So again, this is the HomePod mini, and this is the iPhone 12 mini. And as you can tell, the iPhone 12 mini is significantly taller than the HomePod mini. And then of course, we also have the big iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is massive. So if you compare this iPhone to the HomePod mini, you can tell that, well, the HomePod mini is just so tiny. Like, yeah, this is just a tiny bit bigger than a tennis ball, just so you guys get an idea. Now, yeah, let's take a look at what else we get inside the box. So we get this pull tab here, and we get the manual quick start guide, HomePod mini. Let's see what's inside of this. It just tells you how to connect it to your iPhone. You just hold it near your iPhone, and then it will automatically start to sync up. You also get a few commands for Siri that you can use, which is good. And then just the controls, essentially. Double tap to go to the next track, triple tap to go back, and so on, that you can use here. And that's pretty much it. We also get, we do get an Apple sticker apparently, which is kind of stuck inside, but there we go. This is a non-color matching Apple sticker. Again, Apple is not consistent with these. Then we have the warranty and the safety guide. That's pretty much it. And then of course we also have the charger itself, the power adapter, which is a USB Type-C adapter. And I believe that this is literally the exact same adapter that you get with the iPhones. Yes, literally the same 20-watt power adapter that you get with the iPhones. Now, the thing with a HomePod mini is I was not a fan of the original HomePod. Like, yes, the sound quality was really good, but Siri was just so dumb. Like, honestly, there's so many times when just Siri messed up entirely, even when it came to controlling my lights. And unfortunately, the Siri experience is the same on the speaker. The only differences are that the sound quality is inferior and it is cheaper. So you can buy, I believe, 3 HomePod minis for the price of 1 regular HomePod or something like that. So there you go. If you want to have a bunch of these around your house, then you can actually buy a few HomePod minis for the price of a regular HomePod. So overall, I would say that yes, it is worth it over the original HomePod. But if you want something that's really smart, then I would suggest looking at a Google Assistant speaker. Okay, next topic. So apparently Apple has decided to cut the developer fee from that 30% to just 15%. This is the thing that caused Epic Games to start the whole lawsuit against Apple. The developer fee, they wanted that lowered, and Apple has finally done that. And I honestly think that this is amazing. Like, most of the other stores, the online stores, they almost all have a 30% cut. And the only reason for that is because Apple, who had the first App Store, also had 30%, so they all followed suit. But now they could all lower it because Apple has also lowered it. However, there is a catch. The 50% cut will only apply to small indie companies that have up to $1 million in revenue from the app sales over the past year. And guess what? Epic Games was of course upset because they would not get a commission cut. In fact, Timmy, the CEO of Epic Games, had this to say. Yeah, he's upset that consumers will still have to pay inflated prices. So Epic Games' approach is essentially, oh, if we have the 30% commission that we have to give Apple, we have to increase our price, of course, by 30%. By the way, everyone charges the same. But here's the thing. The Epic Games items, they're all digital items. So, digital items are significantly less expensive than actually manufacturing physical items. So in that case, Epic Games is the one that inflates the prices. They can pick whatever price they want for their items. Of course, they have to pay their staff, their offices, but obviously those are not billions of dollars. So there you go. They're the ones that can lower the prices easily. I don't know, I just think that this whole dispute is like so stupid. And the fact that Epic Games is still upset even after Apple literally dropped the commission for small indie companies, and this was the thing that Epic Games was trying to fight for, small indie companies, and they're still upset because they didn't get a cut, is just, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what do you guys think about all of this. And finally, it is giveaway time. So in every episode of ZONEofTECH News, every week we give away one item. So last week, well, 2 weeks ago, because we didn't have an episode last week, but 2 weeks ago, we gave away a Huawei FreeBuds Studio pair. And this is the winner. And this week we're giving away an Evanki 7-in-1 USB-C hub. You know, it's been MacBook week, so many releases, so why not give away something that's suitable for that, a USB Type-C hub. So if you want to win this, simply follow the details in the link in the description box down below. But yeah, this has been pretty much it for this one, so thank you for watching. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more episodes like this one. Check out the previous ZONEofTECH News episodes. I'm Daniel, this has been ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.